introduce a gentleman who works tirelessly for USA Fencing. He is our resident historian. Before, and I don't even know if it was before that, he's been doing things like that forever. Used to run the very historic West Side Fencing Center. Was an icon here on this part of the coast. Many athletes and coaches have come through there. Now he runs our USA Fencing Museum in Shreveport, Louisiana, and he's probably one of the best dressed men in the world of fencing, Mr. Andy Shaw.
So, I'm not quite that tall. So I want to tell you a little story before we get to our Hall of Fame people, which is very important. But it's my one shot to give you a little bit of something you may not know about, you may find interesting. You know, when our organization was founded in 1891, we'd already had 4 national championships, as some of you already know. And those 4 titles were sponsored by the AAU, the Amateur Athletic Union. And most of our people were upset about the way the officials officiated. The coaches were officiating, and they thought that you can't trust them. They're being paid by some of these guys to teach them, so maybe we shouldn't trust them to referee. That's our organization. That was one of the problems that some of our founding fathers felt. And there were other issues they had. It was all direct elimination. Our organization was against direct elimination. It had to be pools all the way, or it wasn't right. So those were 2 of the main issues. So they were this belief in amateurism, and they felt that form was very important, that you had to look good also. Okay. With this in mind, as fencing developed, our organization was started in 1891, and professionals were not allowed to be members of our organization. They couldn't officiate. They could have nothing to do with our championships. And what happened was, fencing was booming across the United States. Spalding Company opened stores all across the United States for sporting goods as a fitness craze took over the country. And they had maybe 50 stores, fencing equipment in all of them. Saks Fifth Avenue, which was opened as an upscale Gimbels, opened by the Gimbel brothers. Macy's, all of them sold fencing equipment in their sporting goods departments. So fencing could be purchased all over the country, fencing equipment. And some years ago, when our office was moving out of Colorado Springs, there was a box of old papers that they had to get rid of because they didn't have enough room when they were moving off the Olympic Training Center. And I just happened to be there, and being a big mouth, I went in to say hello to the office staff and wave and all this. And they said, "Oh, Andy, there's a box over here we're getting rid of. It's just old papers. If there's anything in there you think you can use, just take it." Okay. So I dug through there and I found a whole bunch of letters written by US Fencing and back and forth from people who had lost their amateur status. They worked at Saks Fifth Avenue selling sporting goods, fishing supplies, and you could never compete again for at least a while. Not never, but because you were a professional sports something. So if you worked in a sporting goods store, that was not acceptable. If you taught at a club, it was not acceptable. And if you helped out at a club for no money, that was not acceptable. A lot of things were not acceptable. So that brings me to tonight's gentleman, Joe Levis. Joe Levis lived in Boston. And he went to MIT. In Joe Levis's freshman year, he's walking across the gym. And Callan graduated from the Naval Academy, and now he's in graduate school for naval architecture at MIT. And he's going to start developing his freshman team. And here comes Joe Levis across the gym. He said, "Hey, you want to learn to fence?" And Levis decided, "I'll try it." So he starts teaching Joe Levis, and Joe eventually took lessons from other people in Boston who helped. Mm-hmm. But Callan starts teaching him. Okay. And this is 22-23 season. Now, as the 25 season comes about later, Joe gets good quickly. In 1925, Callan wins the national title in foil, and in 26, and in 27, and 28. Now, when it comes to 28, Levis and Kalnin both make the Olympic team. So Levis learns to fence in the 22-23 season. And in 28, he's picked for the Olympic team.
Wow.
Kalnin has won the championships 25, 26, 27, 28. And Levis is close in all of these times. Now 29 comes after the Olympics. And Levis did very well at the Olympics. Kalnin wins a bronze medal in épée, where there was a controversy where he could have taken the gold. He acknowledged a touch that there were a number of things that happened that were funny, but something funny happened. We'll have to check into this. But I think someone protested a call about how many touches it was supposed to be. Isn't it win by 2 or whatever? And he said, oh, it doesn't matter. Let's just do it his way then. And he ends up bronze. But he would have been.
Wow. So
28, they're both on the Olympic team. And in these days, you know, the Olympic teams did not go in Italy. There were no Olympic villages.
Right.
This is, you stay on your ship.
Right.
29 comes about. And now Levis wins the nationals.
With Kalnin in the mix, I'm sure.
Right. And the next year, Kalnin wins 30 and 31.
Okay.
32, Levis wins again. So they're dueling with this. Now 32, the Olympic Games were in Los Angeles. It's the first Olympic village. And they made a contest for bread because they figured if we can bake bread in different types from all over the world, we can make this a more hospitable situation for people. It's the worldwide depression.
And was that the Helms Bakery that did that?
That's the Helms one. Now, Paul Hoy Helms was involved in making the Hall of Fame for the United States fencing and sports in general, because he was the adopted son of a deaf baseball player. And that's where the strike and safe things, I think, came from, because one guy who was good was deaf. So Helms decides to start sponsoring things. But here we go. They win the contest for all the bread. And in Baldwin Hills, I think, was the Olympic Village. And they named the street, Olympic Boulevard was turned, they made that name for the Olympics.
Yeah.
At the Olympics. Oh, and this is the first time the podium is used with the stand, invented for the LA Olympics.
Okay.
Or I should say by the people at the LA Olympics.
Yeah.
Italy took first, Marzi. And then Joe Levis was second.
Right.
So we get a silver medal in the Olympics. And in the men's foil team, there was a final of 4. I think we beat Belgium. Again, I'm going by memory, but I think we beat Belgium and France 8-8 on touches, and we beat them by Italy. Italy beat Belgium, and Italy beat us, but they lost to France. How it worked out, it was a tie 3 ways: U.S., Italy, France. And in a fence-off, our team, Richard Steer, Hugh Alessandroni, Joe Levis, George Kalnin. So they got a bronze medal there.
Okay.
So Levis took 2 foil medals in the Olympics that year. Now we go to 33. 33, Kalnin's killed.
Akron crash.
In the Akron dirigible crash off the coast of New Jersey.
Right.
Levis wins again in 33. Alessandroni, one of the members from Columbia on the team, the bronze medal team, he took 34.
Okay.
Levis takes 35. Alessandroni, I think, takes 36. But, you know, it's going this way.
Yeah.
Now, we also had 2 outdoor foil championships.
That's right.
And Levis won both of those.
Okay.
And the 36 Olympics are being held in Berlin. Levis is the #1 seed, coming as a silver medalist. And in the first round, he's basically undefeated. He has 1 more bout. And someone approaches him to dump a bout. He refused to dump the bout. They got angry at him for not dumping it. And they cheated him the rest of the way, and he had a terrible time. Well, the Depression has already hit. He comes back to his tile company, and it's not making any money in the middle of the 1930s. And MIT says, can you help out? So he agrees to help out at MIT with fencing. So US Fencing, AFLA, says, oh, I'm sorry, but you lose your amateur status. So 1937, he's already won 7 national foil titles at this point. And they go, that's it, you're out. Now, in the 1940s, he's done with that, and he says, I'd like to come back and fence. And US Fencing said, oh, we're sorry, it hasn't been long enough. you're gonna have to wait. He gets to 1950. Now this is from like 36, 30, 37, 38. And they say, nah, not long enough, because the guys are going, we don't really want him back. He's too good, forget it. Keep him out longer. Let's wait till he's about 50. And sure enough, when he's about to turn 50 years old, in 1954, they decided, okay, after 17 years off, we'll let Joe Levis back in. And Joe Levis won the national championships in 1954. This is a picture of him with the Harvard coach, the Boston Division chair, the Boston College coach, with the John Allaire foil trophy. And then he retired. He said, that's it, guys, just wanted to show you. And that's the story. He was 49 and a half. So he missed 17 years of competing, and he won 8 national titles, a silver medal in the individuals, and a bronze in the team. Joe Levis. So let's remember him.